If you're watching this video, it's because I need extra time to edit the videos that I'm working on in continuation, and this is kind of a prologue to the videos you'll be seeing in the future. Today we're going to be talking about what photography equipment I'm going to be bringing to San Francisco with Paul, Austin, Gus, and Nick. There, I didn't say one of them twice. First of all, I want to say thank you to those of you that have subscribed since the last video. I was not expecting that video to go big. Then again, you never expect those things. You always expect it to tank or not perform. That video was actually filmed on a whim, and I just wanted to make that video. Didn't expect it to go big or viral or anything, but what I'm figuring out is that you people like gas. You gaseous gas planets, Jupiter people. The video has gotten way more views than I'm used to, and the number of subscribers that I've gotten, thank you, I can't say it enough. And we're at 135 subscribers as of recording right now. The first item I'm going to show you is Robert Wadlow's birthday present from his mother on his 12th birthday. And after having outgrown this camera, he eventually passed it down to me, personally, from big hand to small hand. It's the Fujica GL690 Professional. And this camera is definitely designed for a larger hand than mine. However, it does hold quite nicely in the hand, kind of like an iPad, but it's going to be absolutely phenomenal for taking larger than life images. If I can get my tripod, I'll be taking some night photos with it, but that is the size of the negative, and I'm extremely excited to shoot this camera. And if I get bored of shooting 120 film, I have this panoramic adapter kit to fit 35mm film inside of this camera, and what you end up with is a frame that is wider than the X-Pan, it's wider than the TX1, with a 24 by 80 frame is what you end up with. And as for which film I'll be bringing to shoot in the GL690 is going to be Ilford Delta 3200, which I'll be pushing 3 stops. That will bring us to an ISO of 25,600. And I'll be doing this for the purposes of science, to see what it looks like when you push film, specifically Ilford Delta 3200, that far, and see what results you can get at night. I'm expecting it to be drastically bad and very coarsey grain, but into the camera bag it goes. Next up, I'll be bringing the Canon EOS Elan 7E, and no, it's not digital, I promise. Please don't boil me in developer yet. Let me explain. This is the most accurate body I've ever had as far as focus, metering, and anything you could ask for in a camera body. The lenses are super clear, although I'll only be bringing this one 40mm f2.8 lens because it is by far what I think the thinnest Canon lens available, unless you do like a body cap lens mod. But this is the thinnest autofocus lens that I can find. And in the EOS Elan 7E, I'll be shooting a couple different types of film. One is the Fuji Natura 1600, which I have right here. It expired in 2019 and should have been well kept for the greater part of its expiration. So I'll be shooting it at 1000 ISO. I'll also be bringing this Lomography 800 color negative film. And the purpose for this I will explain after our next camera. The last camera that I'll be bringing with me is the Canonet QL17G3, and you need a degree in speculative mathematics in order to pronounce this name because it is just atrocious, the number of letters and numbers this camera has. But if you have a better name for this camera, feel free to leave it in the comments below. This is actually the first of the 2 Canonet cameras that I've had, and let me explain why. This camera, when I purchased it, came with a front element of the lens that was pretty much torn to shreds and had a little bit of a haze in all of the photos. So I actually ended up buying a second Canon QL17G3, and I took the front element off of that camera, which was much cleaner, and I swapped it. So this is kind of my Frankenstein's camera. Now, before you ask the question, why didn't you just use the other one? Well, the other one didn't have a functioning electronic portion of the camera. This one still functions, so if I wanted to in the future upgrade this to use modern day batteries, I could functionally have a light meter that works, but for now I'm going to be shooting all manual with this. Now, as for film that I'll be shooting in this camera, I'll be shooting some Fuji 800 27 exposures. This was ripped from an underwater camera from Fuji, and the purpose that I'll be shooting this film for is to see if it is in fact Kodak 800 speed film, which I've heard people say is the same as lomography 800 speed film. So if you haven't been able to piece it together quite yet, both of these cameras have a 40mm lens on them, which means that if I can match camera settings and focus, I'll be able to pretty much evaluate the Lomo 800 speed film and the Fuji 800 speed film as if they were shot in the same camera. Hopefully I'll be able to shoot both of these side by side and make a video about it. So that's video number 2 that I'll be making about San Francisco. And now I wanted to talk about some of the honorable mentions of films that I'll be bringing to San Francisco, and that's this Babylon 13, a 13 ISO black and white film that requires all the sunlight you can throw at it, and this Lomo Chrome turquoise, 100 to 400 ISO. I'll be hoping to use it in some interesting ways to get some cool photos. And yeah, those are the runner-ups that if they get used, they get used. And finally, the motivation for this trip was the Fuji Natura 1600 that I got my hands on. This was a 3-part venture between me, Austin Weiberg, and Paul Bundy. We each bought one of these 3 expired in 2019 rolls, and it cost $55 for the roll alone. So this is a highly coveted film, and I hope I can take good enough photos with it. It's a large ask. And finally, for those of you that are hyper curious about video, which probably is a small number of you, I'll be bringing the Panasonic Lumix S52X. Yes, an algebra degree is required to say that name. But I'll be bringing this for video. I won't be using it for still photos, just video. So anyways, that's it for the cameras that I'll be bringing to San Francisco. I'm sorry this isn't as much of a feature-packed video as you would like. I definitely felt like it was not as feature-packed as I would hope for, but it is just what I need to keep YouTube from punishing me for not uploading frequently enough. So yeah, my new subscriber goal is to get to 1,000 before June. If I can make it to 1,000 subscribers before June, I will be elated, because that means that there are people out there still interested in film photography, and that means that film photography is not dying. And I hope that I can do a small part in keeping film photography alive. Anyways, stay tuned for those 3 videos. Ilford Delta pushed 3 stops, Fuji Natura 1600, and comparing Lomo 800 to Fuji 800. And that's not the order they're gonna come out in, but they will come out. I will be making a video about all 3 of them. I will. And maybe a special video if I get to any of the other films. Thanks for watching. I'm more than ecstatic that you're here, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.